All right, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're taking a look at the rookie running backs coming into the NFL in the 2023 NFL season. We're going to show you their highlights. We're going to show you the statistics. We're going to show you where they're going to go in their upcoming Rookie Dynasty League drafts. And later on this year, you're going to have your redraft leagues. We're going to give you some insight on where to take them in those leagues. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard.
Check out the facts.
Here we are on a website called drafttech.com. They're going to rank in order the running backs that they think will go highest in the NFL draft, starting with this guy, Bijan Robinson out of Texas right here. Here's his height and weight in this column, 6 foot, 221 pounds. In this column here is their eligibility. He's a junior. And over here is the rank on Draft Tech. Draft Tech has this guy ranked number 4 overall in this draft as the 4th best player. What makes this guy so special? Let's check out the facts. Bijan Robinson, like I said, is 6 foot, 221 pound junior out of Texas. He played 3 years, starting 28, 31 games. In 2022, he was the Doak Walker Award winner for Nation's Best Running Back. In Longhorn history, he was 4th behind greats of Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams. He was a unanimous All-American in 2022. He finished 9th in the Heisman in 2022. And he was a preseason All-American and on every candidate watch list in 2021 and 2022. He was a unanimous first-team All-American by the coaches, the press, the writers, and the sporting news. He was all Big 12 Conference. At the Combine, he ran an amazing 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. Draft Tech has him ranked number 4 overall. He's likely to be a top 10 or a top 15 pick in this year's NFL draft. He has a chance to be Rookie of the Year, depending upon who picks him in the NFL draft. In 3 years at Texas, he had 3,410 yards rushing on 539 attempts. That's a 6.3 yard average per carry with 33 touchdowns. But he can also catch the ball out of the backfield. That's why the NFL scouts love this guy. I really like this guy. He's going to be taken in the NFL draft in the top, for sure, top 15 picks, maybe top 10. Like players like Saquon Barkley, like Ezekiel Elliott, like LaDainian Tomlinson. This kid has the makeup. He didn't play as many plays as all those guys in college because he had a guy named Rashawn Johnson, who we'll talk about later, as a backup, and he's a really good running back. He's going to get taken in this draft too, who we really like. But Bijan Robinson has a lot of tread left on the tires, and I really like him. He's got this special twitch where he can make you miss tackling him, and if you're not in good tackling position on this guy, he's going to run you over. So we really like him. In your redraft leagues, this guy's going to go in round 2 for sure. Whether he goes in round 1 or not depends on who picks him in the NFL draft. We got a lot of running backs we got to get to. We can't just talk about this guy all day. And we're going to talk about this next guy, Jahmyr Gibbs down in Alabama. He's 5'11", 200-pound redshirt sophomore. And Draft Tech has him ranked number 35 overall. Let's check out his statistics while you watch the highlight. Jahmyr Gibbs played 3 years in college, 5'11", 200-pound redshirt sophomore. He played 2 years at Georgia Tech before transferring to Alabama, where he played 1 year. Most likely in the NFL draft, he'll be a day 2 pick in that second round. But the thing that the NFL scouts like about this guy, he's an all-purpose player. Not only can he run the ball well out of the backfield, but he can catch the ball fluently out of the backfield. And what the scouts want to see is he can return kickoffs in the NFL. So he's going to get playing time right away. In the SEC, he was recognized as a second-team running back and an all-purpose player because of his kickoff return skill. He caught 44 passes for 444 yards with 3 touchdowns at Alabama, while rushing for 926 yards on 151 carries. That's a 6.1 yard average per carry, and he scored another 7 touchdowns. At the NFL Combine, he ran a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, and he's known for his all-purpose usage. So Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get taken high in the NFL draft because of his all-purpose skills. Sometimes that doesn't translate right away to fantasy football. He may spend a year backing somebody up. So in dynasty leagues, he's going in that top 5, top 7 picks in your first round. In your redraft leagues, hey, this guy's going high. I'm surprised. He's going in that top 8, 9 round area. Depending upon who takes him or picks him in the NFL draft, he can move up or he can move down, depending upon where he falls on the depth chart on the team that takes him this year, the 2023 NFL draft. The next guy here is Devin Achon out of Texas A&M, 5'8", 185 pounds, so he's a little bit smaller. In the NFL, you got to be durable, and these small guys, if they're not built well, they can take a pounding. He's a junior, and Draft Tech has him ranked number 49 overall, so they're suggesting he's going to go in that second round or second day of the NFL draft. He's an all-purpose player too. Let's take a look at his statistics while you watch the highlight. Devin Achon, like I said, 5'8", 185-pound junior. He played 3 years at Texas A&M. Of course, he's an all-purpose back, meaning he can catch the ball out of the backfield, meaning he can run the ball out of the backfield, and he returns kickoffs and play special teams. And that's what makes him so special for NFL scouts. In 2022, he was all SEC first team running back. In 2022, he was all SEC first team all-purpose player. He led the SEC in all-purpose yards at 161 yards per game. Now we're talking about one of the leading conferences in college in the SEC, and this kid was a stud. In 3 years, he rushed for 2,376 yards on 369 attempts, and he had 21 touchdowns. He also caught 65 receptions for 555 yards and 5 more TDs. But what makes him special is his kickoff returns. He returned 20 kicks for 613 yards and 2 spectacular touchdowns. At the NFL Combine, he ran a 4.3 40-yard dash. Look, this guy is small, but I can tell you right now, he's explosive. Where he goes in the NFL draft, who takes him will determine whether where he's picked in your dynasty leagues and your redraft leagues. In your redraft leagues right now, before the NFL draft, because this is our NFL draft preview show, he hasn't been picked yet. It's early April. He's not being taken. He's probably a waiver wire pickup. But in your dynasty leagues, man, this guy's going in that top 25 range. So in second, maybe early third round. So keep an eye on where he goes in the NFL draft coming up later this month. But a guy that's actually being taken in a lot of redraft leagues is this guy, Zach Charbonnet, out of UCLA. He spent 2 years at Michigan. Then he transferred to UCLA, where he's from. That's where he grew up, in that area. So he's 6'1", 220 pounds. You can see here, so he's a big guy. He's a senior because he played 4 years in college. Draft Tech has him at number 68 overall. So he's going to go on day 2 of the NFL draft. Let's take a look at his statistics. Zach Charbonnet, like I said, played 4 years, 6'1", 220-pound senior. Draft Tech has him ranked at number 68. He played 2 years at Michigan, then 2 years at UCLA. His career statistics, he rushed the ball 566 times for 3,046 yards at a 5.9 average per carry, and he scored 39 touchdowns. But the kid can catch the ball out of the backfield. In 4 years at college, he had 75 receptions for 589 yards and a 8.7 average per catch, but he didn't score any touchdowns. His average draft position in your Dynasty rookie drafts, he's going in the top 12. That's impressive. And in your redraft leagues, this kid's being taken in the top 10 rounds. Right now before the NFL draft, he's being taken in rounds 8 and 9, and he hasn't even been picked in the NFL draft. So keep an eye on Zach Charbonnet. At the NFL Combine, he ran a 4.56 in the 40-yard dash. He does not return kickoffs, so he's not considered really an all-purpose player. But I tell you right now, Zach Charbonnet, depending upon who picks him in the NFL draft, he's going to move up the draft board or down the draft board. Right now, I like to take guys like this in my redraft league later in the draft. But he's going a little bit too early for me. But in your Dynasty leagues, kid's going in the first round. So keep an eye on him. You might get a steal at the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round, depending upon who takes him in the NFL draft later this month. Now, I want to show you these guys here, from Chase Brown, Tajay Spears, Zach Evans, and Israel Abanikanda. I like all these guys. But these guys are guys you can be picked up on the waiver wire and all your redraft. In your Dynasty leagues, these guys are going to be taken in that third or fourth round of your Dynasty rookie draft. So who's going to be taken earlier than these guys in your Dynasty rookie drafts? Because in your redraft leagues, you guys can pick up any of these guys we're going to talk about probably on the waiver wire or later in your draft. Keep that in mind. So let's head over to Fantasy Pros and let's check out who's being ranked high. That way you guys have an idea of who to pick in your Dynasty rookie drafts at running back in the 2023 NFL season. Okay, here we are taking a look at a different website. It's called fantasypros.com. It's one of our affiliates. They've been sticking with us, so we're going to show them some love. I'll tell you what, when you get a chance, you got to check these guys out. It will really help you in fantasy football. Here they have their rankings. They have 25 of their 46 experts ranking the rookies coming into the NFL at all positions. As you can see here in this column here, positions going down. Other guys we talked about, Jahmyr Gibbs. As you can see, he's moving up on Fantasy Pros. He's being taken in this league, which is a PPR, one quarterback league. So if you're in a 2-quarterback league or a flex league, something like that, these quarterbacks here might be higher. CJ Stroud or Bryce Young may move up into that top tier. And this is what we have here. So you could see Jahmyr Gibbs, running back number 2. You can see down here, we got Zach Charbonnet, running back number 3. We've already talked about him. And we told you about Devin Achane. Let's see where he's at on this list if we move this list down. Okay, we forwarded this list, and as you can see here, running back number 4, Devin Achane. Look at these next 3. Running back number 5, Zach Evans, Kendre Miller, Sean Tucker. I'll tell you what, let's take a look at these guys and see what makes them so special in your upcoming Fantasy League drafts. Zach Evans is 5'11", 212-pound junior out of Ole Miss. He transferred from TCU where he played with Kendre Miller, who we'll talk about next. His rookie average draft position is top 15. He played at TCU and then transferred to Ole Miss. He never had a 1,000-yard season, but he did manage 290 carries in his career for 1,999 yards with 18 TDs, and he caught 30 receptions. Hey, if you want to know about this guy, I'll tell you right now, he's a good player, and people like him in fantasy circles. So you need to know who Zach Evans is. He's being taken in the top 20 picks of your Dynasty League. The guy he played with over at TCU was Kendre Miller. Let's take a look at his statistics. Kendre Miller, 6 foot, 220-pound junior. He played 3 years at TCU. Problem is, he had an MCL injury at the end of the year, so he's still recovering from that. In his career, he had 361 rushing attempts for 2,410 yards at a 6.7 average per carry with a whopping 26 TDs. He doesn't really catch the ball at backfield. He only had 29 receptions for 229 yards and a TD. This is why Draft Tech did not have this guy ranked high. It's because he doesn't really catch the ball out of the backfield very often. But I can tell you right now, Fantasy Pros has him ranked really high. So you need to know who he is. And this guy here, who Draft Tech had falling 70 spots in the last 2 weeks in April. Not sure why. Probably a bad combine. Maybe wasn't healthy at the combine. But they have him ranked at running back number 7 overall. So let's take a look at his statistics so you know who Sean Tucker is out of Syracuse. 5'10", 209-pound junior. He played 3 years there. He had 589 rushing attempts for 3,182 yards and 27 TDs. He had a 5.4 average per carry, and he caught a whopping 64 passes for 622 yards and another 4 TDs. Kid had a good career. His dynasty rookie average draft position is around pick 20. Keep an eye and see where Zach Evans, Kendra Miller, and Sean Tucker go, because if they go to the right team, their ADP average draft position is going to move up in your dynasty rookie drafts. And these guys are guys that, I got to be honest with you, in a redraft league, depending upon the team that takes them in the NFL, I'm still looking to pick them up on the waiver wire after the season starts. Some people are going to draft them as maybe a potluck or throw a dart at the dartboard. But I got to be honest with you, I would wait for them to cut them, and you might be able to get a handcuff to a starting running back or even a future starter later this year. Let's take a look at some other guys you need to know about before we cut you loose. There's some really good players that are going to impact fantasy football for years to come at running back. Let's take a look at these guys. Okay, hey, we moved the chart down a little bit. As you can see, here's Zach Evans, Kendra Miller, and Sean Tucker. We just talked about it. But I'll tell you what, these next 2 guys, man, did well in college. Tank Bigsby out of Auburn and Israel Abanikanda out of Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at their statistics and what makes them so special. Tank Bigsby, who's going in the average draft position in your dynasty rookie leagues around the end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round, at pick round number 20. He played at Auburn. He's 6 foot, 208-pound junior. He played there 3 years. He had 540 rushing attempts for 2,903 yards, 5.4 yard average per carry. He managed to score 25 TDs. He did manage to have 62 receptions for 448 yards, but he never scored a touchdown catching the ball. That's concerning, but a lot of people in your dynasty leagues like this guy. I doubt he's going to be taken in any of your redraft leagues. Neither is this guy in your redraft leagues, Israel Abanikanda. Israel Abanikanda, they have him ranked as the 21st overall player. His average draft position in your dynasty leagues is in that 4th round. I think he should probably go higher. It really depends on who takes him in the NFL draft. Let's take a look at his statistics real quick. Israel Abanikanda is 5'11", 215-pound junior out of Pittsburgh. He played 3 years there. In his last season, he rushed for 1,431 yards and 20 touchdowns, but he only caught 12 receptions. While at Pittsburgh in 3 years, he did manage to rush the ball 390 times, 2,177 yards with 28 TDs, and in 3 years, he caught 38 passes, 354 yards, and another 3 TDs. This kid's got a lot of tread left on the tires, but his last year there, man, he lit it up. That's why he probably came back, and you need to know who he is for your Dynasty League drafts. Other guys that you need to know about are these guys down here. Eric Gray. I tell you what, this kid did well in college, and Tajay Spears, a kid that lit it up at the NFL Combine, didn't run the 40, but I tell you what, he went to the Senior Bowl, played well. Coaches got a chance to look at him. And he went to the Combine and did every drill well except for running the 40, which he did not do. Let's take a look at some of these guys. Eric Gray's the next on the list on Fantasy Pros. He played 4 years in college. He played at Tennessee for 2 years, transferred to Oklahoma. He's 5'9", 210 pounds. He's a redshirt junior. That's why he's played 4 years. But he's an all-purpose player. So he's going to go higher in the NFL draft because he can return punts and kickoffs. He rushed the ball 549 times for 3,089 yards, 5.6 average per carry. He had 21 touchdowns in his career, and he caught the ball 99 times for 827 yards, and he scored 5 TDs catching the ball. That's why people like Eric Gray. I tell you what, He's going to do well depending upon the team that takes him. Fantasy Pros has him ranked running back number 10. So we'll see who takes him in the NFL draft. That will determine whether he moves up this list or down this list. Another guy I really like I said, did well at the NFL Combine. He did well at the Senior Bowl. His name's Tajay Spears out of Tulane. Tajay Spears played 4 years in college. He's 5'11", 195-pound junior. He showed what he can do at the Senior Bowl and at the NFL Combine. His career stats, he rushed the ball 427 times for 2,910 yards. That's a 6.8 yard average per carry. And he scored 31 TDs in 4 years. But he can also catch the ball. He caught 48 receptions for 564 yards and 11.8 yard average catch. And he had 3 more touchdowns. He only returned a couple kickoffs in his career. But I can tell you right now, man, the coaches really like him. That's why you need to know who he is. We got some other guys we're going to touch on really quick because you got to know these guys are going to show up in your dynasty leagues and they're going to get a chance to play. But how about Deuce Vaughn and Rashawn Johnson out of Texas? These guys had good careers. They're going to get a chance to play in the NFL, and I really like them, along with guys down here, Chase Brown and Mohamed Ibrahim. We have to look at these guys real quick, so hang with us. We'll make it as quick as possible. Deuce Vaughn was out of Kansas State. He's only 5'6", 173 pounds, which he's very small for the NFL. He's a junior, and like I said, he only played 3 years at Kansas State. He's an all-purpose player because he returns kickoffs, he rushes the ball well, and he catches the ball out of the backfield. In his 3-year career at Kansas State, he had 651 rushing attempts for 3,604 yards. That's a 5.5 yard average per carry. He had 34 touchdowns. But what he did well is he caught the ball out of the backfield. In 3 years, he caught 116 passes for 1,280 yards and another whopping 9 touchdowns. What makes this guy really special, Deuce Vaughn, is because he's an all-purpose player, so the NFL is going to take him. You're going to end up picking him up on the waiver wire for a week or two his first year on your redraft leagues, and he's going to be one of those guys you're going to throw in at the end of your dynasty rookie drafts, probably in round 4 or earlier, maybe depending upon who takes him and what he shows in the preseason. But this is the guy I really like. This is Rashawn Johnson. I couldn't wait to get to him. You know, he played behind Bijan Robinson over at Texas, but he was kind of second fiddle to a really good running back. He played 4 years at Texas, 3 with Bijan Robinson, but he still had a good career even though he was this guy's backup. Let's take a look at his statistic. Rashawn Johnson out of Texas was 6 foot, 225-pound senior. 4 years at Texas, Rashawn Johnson was considered an all-purpose player. He returned kickoffs, he rushed the ball, and he caught the ball at the backfield. His rushing attempts, he had 392 for 2,090 yards. He had a 5.6 yard average per carry. He scored 23 touchdowns, and he caught 56 balls for 420 yards and another 3 touchdowns. I got to tell you, man, don't be surprised if this kid does well, because he's got a lot of tread left on the tire too, because he didn't play a lot in college, but when he did, he was special. I'll tell you what, that's a lot of running backs. That's 13. There are some other guys I do like on this list, like Chase Brown and Mohamed Ibrahim. You know, these guys are going to get drafted in the NFL, probably in rounds 4 through 7 on the third day. I do want to give you some updates on these guys, and then we'll let you loose. Let's check out Chase Brown, a guy I really like, out of Illinois. Chase Brown's 5'9", 215-pound junior. He played 5 years in college. He started out at Western Michigan for 1 year, and then he transferred to Illinois, where he played with his brother, who plays defense. He's an all-purpose running back. In 2022, he was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, the Maxwell Award, the Walter Camp Award. He was second-team All-America according to 6 organizations. His career stats in 5 years, how about 676 rushing attempts for 3,558 yards and a 5.3 yard average carry, but he only scored 18 touchdowns, and he only caught 58 receptions for 521 yards and a 9-yard average with another 3 touchdowns. You know, Chase Brown at Illinois in the Big Ten may not have put up the great stats, but I tell you what, he went to the Senior Bowl, he impressed the coaches, he went to the Combine, and he impressed everybody there too. So keep an eye out where Chase Brown gets drafted in this year's NFL Draft coming up later in April. And the last guy I want to touch on, even though I like a bunch more, but we got to keep this thing as short as possible, and we're already over on time, is Mohamed Ibrahim. He's ranked number 15 over here on Fantasy Pros as far as running backs go. Let's take a look at his statistics. Mohamed Ibrahim's out of Minnesota, where he was a workhorse, man. He's 5'10", 210 pounds. He played 5 years there, so he's a redshirt senior. He's an all-purpose player. He does return kickoffs. He only returned 3 of them, but he rushed the ball 867 times for 4,668 yards. That's a 5.4-yard average per carry, and he scored an amazing 53 touchdowns in 5 years, but he only caught 22 receptions for 145 yards and no touchdown. That's the problem with this guy. He didn't catch a lot of passes. But I'll tell you what, you need to know about him. That's why we're telling you about him, mostly for your dynasty leagues and in your redraft leagues. Keep an eye on, see who takes him in the NFL draft. He may be a waiver wire pickup in 2023. Well, that's it for our running backs. We tried to get as many in there as we could while keeping this video short. I hope you appreciate it. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.